Hey there, Tony here from Carnivore Studios. In today's devlog, we'll be going over the new guard model, our new weapon spawn effect, and the progress I've made in the design and visual style of the level modules. Received the new guard model last week and wanted to do some work getting it rigged and set up in Unreal, but there were a few issues with the model that needed to be sorted out before we could proceed. I found there were some gaps between the armor pieces that needed to be fixed. This was a first iteration sent to me, so I was expecting a bit of back and forth until we got it just right. I also found some issues with the head and in between the legs that needed to be addressed on the second iteration, but it is essential that we get these issues all corrected since I have a lot of light effects and these gaps would be very visible in game. What I can show you is the static versions of the models with some variations on the textures to give you an idea of what they'll look like. I'm super happy with the results and I'm really looking forward to rigging them up and seeing them in game. One thing I was able to cross off my checklist was the effect for when you take out your weapon. I needed a nice material effect to indicate the weapon was materializing and dematerializing when you took it out and put it away. The weapon material makes it look like they're made of energy, and this effect makes it look like they materialize in your hand when you need them. This will work well with the parkour to allow whatever weapon you have equipped to disappear quickly when you need to grab a ledge or vault with both hands. I haven't hooked up the material effect to parkour and weapon equip yet, but the groundwork for the material is done, which is half the battle. I did some tweaks to a tutorial I found and added it to my energy weapon material to get the desired effect. I'll put a link for the tutorial in the description below. I didn't know if AI could do it, so I gave it a try, specifying I wanted a 2D texture, and it did give me some interesting results. They weren't perfect, but it was a nice starting point, and I can use the textures as placeholders until I can tweak one into something I like or make one from scratch if needed. I think this is a great use for AI to make placeholder textures that can also be used to inspire the end results with a bit of tweaking. It makes iterating and finding the right style much faster, so if you end up having an artist make it for you, you've done most of the style iterations already. One thing I was working on throughout the week was the design and creation of a good test module. I started by working on jump distances and created a test level to test the max distance and height the player could jump and grab onto ledges. This was needed so I could calibrate the height and distance of different areas of the module to ensure the player could only take specific paths if they didn't have any movement upgrades. I have other test levels that test the different game mechanics as well, but I wanted to make a complete module, as it will be in the end game, so I can start working on my more refined procedural generation system, as well as hammer out the visuals for the environment. The best way to do this is to make a single module using everything I learned during testing. So far I've only blocked out the first module, but I'm really liking where it's going and I should be getting into the actual hard surface modeling and texturing of the environment next week. One thing I'm realizing is that I'll likely have to have a nested procedural system to generate the different paths in the module itself based off the requirements of the level as a whole and the procedural system that generates that level. This is a work in progress, so I'll let you know more details when I've hammered out a good solution. This week has been a lot of modeling and design work, so I don't have as much to report on, but having ground through it, I'll have a lot of great things to start showing you next week. This is how it goes sometimes. You just have to put your head down and get a bunch of work done so you get back to the fun and flashy bits. That's all we have for today. Be sure to like and subscribe or join the newsletter using the link below. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.